And one night, like years after, like we were just hanging out at the beach, all cuddled up as we typically were. And I was like, I have a gross thought right now. And he's like, what? I was like, I kind of want to kiss you. He's like, you're disgusting. And also same. Because that was our banter. Because I like.
Welcome to Sex and the Solo Girl. Though I didn't tell you two this, but I'm going to drop this on Breakups, Broken Hearts, and Moving On as well, because I've got a lot of newly single listeners over there who I think want to learn about flirting. So welcome to the show. Today we are talking about flirting and seduction and making it known to people that you are interested, available. We'll talk about what exactly flirting means. And I am joined by two other Denver/Colorado locals and the Denver Metro ethical non-monogamy community. This is so cool.
Yay!
Yay!
Oh, this is so great. Yay. Let's just get started. This is going to be a fun episode. I want to empower my listeners. I want to educate my listeners. And I just want to hear from two other flirts about how you do your thing, how it affects maybe your day-to-day life. And I don't know. This is going to be a fun talk. So Ileana,
Yes.
hello.
Hello.
Tell us who you are and why you think you are a good flirt.
I'm Ileana. I am a magnificent flirt, mostly because I have learned to just embrace the fact that I'm a romantic at heart. I love to love. I love the littlest things. I get giddy about the littlest things, the way the sun looks, the breeze on your skin, how good my coffee is. I am known for my happy food dance. And it's in those little moments where flirting is kind of everywhere. And it doesn't always have to be romantical flirting. And, I flirt with my friends. I hype them up. Like, it's just woven into the fabric of who I am as a human.
Andrew wanted to also talk about how flirting permeates other aspects of his life. It's not just in order to get a date. So yeah. Fantastic. And it's funny, 100%. I was telling my partner that you were coming on and he's like, she's got some personality on her. That's going to be a great episode.
I love that. And he met me all of once. So
yes, Chris met you once and he was like, oh yeah. All right, Andrew, who are you? Why do you think you're a good flirt? And what are you drinking tonight?
My name's Andrew. And yeah, I identified myself as a good flirt. And I had to actually work at it. So be intentional about it. It didn't come natural to me. And when I could remember when it clicked to me to see it as a skill set, and I'm glad I did. It was originally because I was girl crazy and I needed to get me some of that attention. And
That's valid.
And then, yeah, it affects every aspect of my life. I think it's a mindset when you start thinking about it. And it's about hyping people up. It's about choosing happiness. What's on the other side of your choices? And I chose happiness. And I'm happy to give somebody, even if it's from some random person, and you kind of walk the line of creep versus random hype person.
And as a man, which we'll talk a little about the differences, what is flirting? Can you each give me a one sentence answer?
I would go back to mindset. It's a way of life, really, because I don't want to elaborate. Okay. It's a mindset and a way of life.
Mindset, according to Andrew, and a way of life. I like it. Ileana.
I feel like it's a playful dance in love and just appreciation.
I believe that it is a way of making a person feel good, making a person you want to feel good. Mm-hmm. And there can be different motivations for doing so. And that is one thing that we will talk about today. I, though, have a very academic definition that I want to run past you. And this comes from the paper. Sex and the perceived effectiveness of flirtation techniques by Wade and Feldman out of the Buckwell University out of Pennsylvania. What is flirting? Flirting involves indicating to potential mates that one is interested in dating / spending time with them. Flirting is considered a universal and essential aspect of human interactions. Individuals, both married and single, which that will be interesting because all of us here are non-monogamous, flirt. Flirtation can be used for either courtship initiation or quasi-courtship purposes. Quasi-courtship refers to instances where flirtatious behaviors are used when one or both parties are not interested in sexual contact. Individuals can flirt non-verbally or verbally. What do you guys think of that definition?
I think it's pretty concise.
Okay. I like what they said about the quasi-courtship as well, because each one of us indicated that we might flirt for reasons other than wanting to date someone. This is true. I mean, there's other motivations that you might have to make a person feel good for your own purposes, perhaps.
Yeah, and I've had a journey with flirting, and a younger me would use my powers for bad sometimes, and it would be a little manipulative. But now, as an adult and being more self-aware, I definitely flirt for the job, to make a sale, bromances. I love a fucking bromance, like, to death. Just finding those new connections and meaningful connections where you're like, yeah, it's time for us to let's go down this rabbit hole. And like some of my partner's friends, they're like, oh, they're getting along way too well.
Okay, so many things here, and Ileana, feel free to break in. So one thing I want to say is, so as far as, I didn't say why I think I'm a good flirt, and I will just say I've always been good at it, and also I have a high success rate. So, but, and this goes back to what you just said about your powers.
Scoreboard.
So you realize that you were a people person, or what do you mean by your powers? And Ileana, I see this in you as well. So
yeah,
you have the power, girl.
Yeah, it's like when you get a hold of a new tool and you're like, okay, I know I could make it do this and I can make it do that. And when you're young and you find that you have that ability, sometimes you explore it a little bit, and you could accept more risk. So you do things and it might hurt people. And I've definitely hurt some people.
I want to talk about that.
But I realized that, and I learned from my mistakes, and now I know when it's getting to a point where I got to draw back, or I offer a little more communication and context, because sometimes I'll flirt with somebody that they see it as something that's not going to happen, and I'm like, no, I'm trying to hype you up, but it's not that.
Okay, but what do you see as your powers? We each three have it. I can tell, and maybe that's why each one of us wanted to do this episode, because we're very naturally confident at this point in our lives. So very naturally confident, as everybody can just see by looking at us on camera. So Ileana, I'll start with you. Yeah. What do you think intrinsically makes you a good flirt? Like, what is it either about your personality, how you carry yourself? Like, what would you say is your power? We'll go through. I know what mine are.
Yeah, it's genuine. Like, if I'm interacting with you, and whether it's flirtatious for romance, flirtatious for business, because I was a sales girl, so I made lots of money because I knew how to weave that story. And that's part of flirting, is being able to weave it all together. But, kind of like Andrew said, is sometimes you got to be a little bit more clear, like, hey, this is not intentional for this outcome. We're just having a conversation, and it's kind of those clarifying moments that we've really got to.
Yeah, there is a shadow to being good at flirting.
There is, and we gotta clarify sometimes, and sometimes I don't even think about it because I'm just authentically being kind, being nice. And it's so much of who I am and in my conversations with people that they're like, oh no, she was like totally into me. And a friend would have to be like, that's who she is. Like,
Yeah,
you
same.
may
I
want
have
to
a
have
couple
a
stories.
conversation with her about that because that's just who she is with everyone.
Aw.
So it's definitely you got to kind of catch yourself and like reel it in those moments, and it's being aware of. And I know we're going to get into it, but the other person's body language and their communication coming towards you, and oh shit, I just heard them say something that they're taking this perception a little bit different than my intention
Mhm.
is.
Yes. I will say my powers are I've always been good with eye contact from a young age, and I've always been sure of myself um from a young age, especially physically. I found that it was something that I had from when I was really young. And so I present as confident, I'm comfortable interacting with men because I guess I've always thought I was kind of a catch, and I just feel like that just amp myself up. And so I just go in um I guess with nothing to lose, if that makes sense. Like in my
No,
mind,
yeah,
I'm not
100%.
worried about the outcome.
I'm not even playing this game. What do you mean there's something to win or lose?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I'm just talking to
Okay.
you. This isn't a game.
Okay. Yeah,
There's
love
no
it.
ch- yeah.
Andrew, what do you think your powers are, or what makes you a confident flirt?
It's natural in my wheelhouse to give care, and I think that's where it
Mhm.
starts is with giving. If you're a giver at heart, and kind of a servant isn't a four-letter word for you, then you have that kind of a heart of a servant. I think there's happiness on the other side of that, like I said before. So it's easy to give attention, give care. That fosters curiosity, and I think connection. And when there's curiosity in the mix, connections in the mix. And I think that's what ultimately almost all humans are looking for, are meaningful connections. And if you could offer that in a safe way, then I think people I've talked with a lot of my partners, they're like, everybody says that you're their best friend. And I'm like, hell yeah. Hell yeah. I don't, I know I have like somebody that I could say all my shadow to, and that's my best friend. But I love being everybody's best friend.
So let's talk about our favorite ways to flirt. One of the goals with both of my podcasts excuse me, to give practical information. And so I want to, yeah, open up this discussion. If you really think about it, what are the actual actions that you take if you are trying to show someone you're interested, trying to lift them up, just trying to show that you're available, just like what have you found that you do?
For me, this is such a blurred line because
Okay.
I too I'm a nurturer. I'm a giver. All my friends know I know their food allergies or intolerances.
My goodness.
I also cook for a lot of people. Like I love to feed people. I mean, I'm Latina. Like I have to feed people, and it's those little things that if you don't know that I do that for other people, you'll think, oh, she's putting so much into me. It's like, no, like this is just who I am. But my favorite way to actually flirt with people, and again, it's part of my essence, is I love banter. I am a queen of comedic chaos, and
Okay.
it is so fun. But like, if someone can just stay par with me and banter and wit, and we're just like one for one, even if we're both being like absolute weirdos with like bad accents and like cultural references and memes out loud and things like that. Like it's such a thing because I'm like, okay, you're understanding my chaotic gremlin inside and you're playing. And for me, it's always just that playfulness.
It's
Okay.
And
rhythm.
it's that little dance. And I'll always wrap it back to it's just a playful dance because it's like the mating of the birds. I love that you sent us that video too, because I'm like, that's really what it is like we're out here just dancing away. Like, do you like it when I do like this? And like it's such, I'm trying to find the word for it, but it's a way to, and I know I said this earlier when we were before we recorded, but it's a way to kind of filter through who vibes with you and who doesn't.
Okay. So you feel like you're good at matching people's energy or seeing how they like to banter?
That, and I am a safe space, and people can be weird. They can drop those masks,
Mm-hmm.
because
Okay.
I will absolutely be a weirdo and do something strange, and they're like, "Oh, you can just do that." Yes, we can. There's no rules. Everything's made up, and we can just be strange. And that's such a powerhouse for me, is cultivating that safe space just by existing as I am.
And
Beautiful.
I would say for the more introverted, because I've kind of lived both lives where I grew up and I thought I was, everybody thinks it's the Truman Show and you're the awkward one. And that's how I was until it clicked. And for me, a tool that helped me was like all the rom-coms that were out when we were growing up. I don't know everybody's age, but that kind of disappeared now. So
Can you say
I
more about that? What do you mean?
like you get to know that everybody's as awkward as you,
Oh.
and it's if it's out there like in the zeitgeist, there's a lot of shared experience for that. And if you like say that weird feeling that you get when you want to go talk to somebody, and if you're romantic like us, I think you already had that 2 year relationship in your head before you even say 3 words to them, and that's why it's scary. It's you, that so you have nothing to lose. Somebody that's more introverted, I had everything to lose because I already made up this huge reality in my head. So it was really hard for me to push past that. And the advice I got was a lot from movies. It was getting the like 3, 2, 1, go advice,
Mm-hmm.
where you just count down in your head and say it. Like it's scary. It's the skydiving reference. It's scary going jumping out of the plane, but once you jump, it's done. And the sooner you let go of that made up 2 year, 3 year kind of thing that you do in your head, it's probably the healthiest version of how that goes anyway.
Yeah.
Because,
I talk often about don't write a story about the
yeah,
relationship. Be like, let it write itself.
Yeah.
So, okay, I have so much to say right now. So, first of all, Andrew, as far as like this 3, 2, 1 thing goes, are you saying that I mean, so how do you know if a woman is interested, or a woman is flirting with you?
yeah, I'd say it's a challenge handshake type thing. You
Okay.
you throw it and you push it a little bit past, and there's times that you're going to cross a line, and hopefully the other person is aware enough to be like, okay, I'm uncomfortable, or you're like, I think the skills I learned was to be an empathetic, like an empathic. Like I started reading cues intentionally because they didn't come natural to me. A little neurospicy, where I had no filter and would just say things, and it was. And I never had the intention of making people uncomfortable, but then I had to evaluate what that actually meant. I was just out causing stimulation to people and not having any pause to have intent. I was just doing things like, oh, saying this, saying that. Oh, I'm quirky. That's just how I am. But
I really appreciate your
That's such a
self-reflection
hard
here.
relate to, because I was that
Yeah.
way early on in life. And I was like, what do you mean? You just do this?
yeah, and then I was like, oh, that's not my intent. But then when I really analyzed it, I wasn't pausing for intent. There was no room for it. So I couldn't, it was unfair for me to be like, hey, that wasn't my intent. So sorry, like, sorry you feel that way.
Yeah,
It's
like
like, that sucks.
taking responsibility for the impact
Yeah,
rather and your actions at the
I
same
have to
time.
go, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
take that out of
Mm-hmm.
my vocabulary and be like, okay, I am
Nice.
impacting people.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
let's figure out how to do that. And it's all it is a little pause. Um, like you
Okay.
could have that, and it's not
Mm-hmm.
that hard.
Because of being a naturally good flirt, I've had to rein it in so many times because of quote unquote giving someone, men and women, the wrong impression. And and also realizing like I was just trying to be friendly, like I'm just kind of doing my own thing. I'm being, cute or just like kind of living my best life. And then, yeah, realizing that, yeah, the impact was like so different than what I had expected, for better and worse. I will say I've had men come up to me or tell me, like, after knowing them for a while, this is kind of hilarious, like that they always thought there was a bit of flirtation between the two of us. And I'm like, no, I mean, like, if you thought that, that's great. Like, but like, can either of you kind of speak to that?
Yeah, definitely. I surrounded myself with a lot of men growing up because it was safer. Guys kind of let me just be a little weirdo. And I was very feisty, to say it in the nicest way, growing up. I loved to like just wrestle and rough play and things like
Oh
that. So
my.
I it was a thing. I still like to. It's really fun. But they got it a lot more, and it was kind of the same thing when I started kind of reflecting on how I was behaving and that how I was being perceived or how I was being taken from the other
Mm-hmm.
side. I was like, okay. So when I started, people were like, well, you were flirting with me. I was like, can you actually let me know what let you think that? Like
Mm-hmm.
what led to that? Because from my aspect, that's not my intent. And I need to know where. So it was really asking for feedback.
I
That was a
appreciate that because I don't
huge,
think I really did that.
I
Right.
had
I
to.
show everybody my tits.
Yeah, I literally I walk around naked. So I'm like, there was a
What
part
made you think you were so special
and like, what do
seeing
you
my
mean?
tits?
And it's funny, and I'll share this real quick because there was at a party and I'm like, stuffing my face with like veggies, and this guy's like, how are you just so sexy? And not even the mouth spoke before the brain. And I was like, because I exist.
Yeah, it's confidence. And I
And I
can
was
see
like,
it. I can see it in the three of us. And maybe we should just do an
yeah,
episode on confidence. You and everyone listening, it is so okay if you don't feel as confident as
yeah,
the three of us. Okay. It
this
is
was
a
a work in
journey.
progress.
Completely. You can so get there. Doesn't mean you have to be like the three of us, but I also promise you that you are
I mean,
amazing
look at
and
what I'm
you are
wearing.
an amazing person. Yes.
It's
Ileana's
literally
shirt says, I love me. And the confidence is inside of you. You just kind of have to unravel it, kind of like a rose. Tear off all of the petals until you get to it. Because
yeah.
really that's what makes you comfortable being flirtatious. I want to circle back around to the actual actions. And these are some of mine. And also what two of you have said also. Eye contact. That is in all of my research preparing for this episode, the number one thing that came up. Being able to make eye contact with a person. You guys, it will change your life, I promise you. And then number two, which I expected but was surprised that it was number two across the board, laughter and banter and being willing to be humorous with people was considered the second most effective way to be flirtatious. And this is something I will say for any introvert listening. I don't completely understand introversion, but I do believe that you have it in you to be humorous and to engage with people in a lighthearted way. I know I'm very easily laughing and making people laugh, and I think that the the two of you are as well. What do you have to say about, yeah, laughter and play and banter?
Yeah, I think it's suffice to say that there's safe places to do that with. And I think if you want to have that environment, you have to cultivate it yourself and within yourself first. So if I want to get to a point and I'm trying, like, yeah, I feel in a little bit rhythm and I want to extend things on, I'll first off, like, uh, be vulnerable myself. So if I show some vulnerability and somebody is on the same wavelength of me, they'll feel safe enough to do that also. If they don't feel safe, I got some work to do, and it's probably, uh, you know, showing, giving time try to feel out what that other person needs in order, and then like attacking it with patience and kindness if you actually want to be intentional about making a connection there. And uh, a lot of it, yeah, is being intentional about play, especially as adults. I think society tells us that we could play in certain situations. Maybe when alcohol is involved or sexually, it's safe as an adult, but it's not really safe to just, hey, you want to color? Like, you
Mhm.
want to, I love walks and just being playful with walks, throwing stuff at people safely, little pieces of ammo.
Yeah, see where you can fill in a little
Yeah.
lightheartedness into your day. That's one reason I love to put glitter on everything. It's just
Mhm.
it's fun. And as soon as I wake up, I see glitter around me and I'm in a good mood type of thing.
Yeah. And then if you get it back, my extension is to try to figure out a safe way to ask for consent to touch. Like, oh, is it okay? Is it okay if I brush your hair? Like it's in your face. Like,
Brush your hair.
like brush
Oh,
your hair
like,
behind your
like,
ear.
like,
Yeah. Or
behind the ear.
yeah. And uh or hey, if we're at a walk, I do want to hold hands. Like or if you're introverted like me, I found a way to ask the question without asking the question. So you're like, what would you say if I asked you to hold your hand? So
okay.
that gives me an emotional out. Because if they're like no, and I was like, then I could be funny and just be like, well, I wasn't going to ask anyway.
Okay. Okay. But see, so now you have consent, you have casual touch or light touch, which came up a lot in my research, and humor all in one.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you
I think
gotta.
asking especially to do something is so pivotal for most people. And it's so empowering for people who aren't accustomed to speaking up. And especially in, the way most of us grew up and in our society, asking something so direct is not really common. It is within our community because we're so used to it. But like that's why I can't date vanilla because they don't speak the way we do. It's not the same language.
Mhm.
And even people within our E&M community, there's, everyone's at different levels and everything else. You still have to ask, but that cuteness. And that's what I think of it is it's
Mhm.
a cuteness of, yeah, we're on a walk. I would
Mhm.
really like to hold your hand right now. Are you open to that? Um, and I had a friend once, everybody thought we were hooking up all the time. We were not. And one night, like years after, like we were just hanging out at the beach, all cuddled up as we typically were. I was like, I have a gross thought right now. And he's like, what? I was like, I kind of want to kiss you. He's like, you're disgusting. And also same. Because that was our
Oh,
banter. Because I like for years everybody always thought we were hooking up and we're like, no, we're just cuddle buddies. Like this is because we were that level of intimate, like we were just gross together in those like romantical ways, but there was nothing romantical there. And then we were just having a great connected weekend. And I was like, I have a really, but it's bringing in that funny again. It's like, I have a gross thought. And it was like, I kind of want to kiss you. He's like, ew, you're disgusting. Also, same.
well, so did you guys hook up?
Yeah, we did. It was a great weekend. And then what was funny was 2 weeks later we tried again and it was a no.
Oh my
The
God.
the juju was not there, and we're like, no. We're like, we're just back, and that was it. It
Okay.
was one magical weekend, and then we were done. But we're still great friends to this day, and now we joke about it more because for us, but it started off as being vulnerable and asking. And I was like, I'm going to let this intrusive thought come out because it hasn't stopped for like an hour. And I'm like, and this is my safe person at this point that I can say this out loud because if it would have been a no from him, he'd be like, it would have been like, you're gross. I love you, but no. And I'm like, okay, cool. And I wouldn't have felt that hard reject. I'd be like, oh my God, you're right. It's so gross.
Mhm.
But with someone new, and that you're not that close with, I think it's part of that cuteness, that little rom-comness. Because I'm not, for being a girly, I am not a rom-com girly. My favorite rom-com is The Sweetest Thing, which is one of the most ridiculous movies ever.
I don't believe it love at first sight at all, so I'm not
And
into any of
no,
that
no.
shit.
And I, especially me, I'm more demi-minded. So it's like I want to connect. So when I'm wanting more from somebody and I'm finding myself in that, because I have a vetting process before I date, and it's like a whole thing. It's not like check boxes. I'm not neurotic, but like it's this thing. And I'm more so like, hey, I would love to spend some intentional time with you.
She's like,
And that has
it's
no,
not check boxes. I have highlighters.
Yeah. I
yeah.
definitely know what I definitely
I'm
know
like,
what I want.
yeah, like when you're like, highlight. But yeah, I think it's just so simple, that moment of vulnerability. And especially when you're having that, like, I want to ask, I want to ask, I want to just ask. And that's that courage that it's going
But
to take.
also, yes, being able to ask and use your words. But again, the journey that the three of us have been on, to the point where if it was a no, if it is a no, it's perfectly possible for
Yeah.
that it's just not going to be devastating. And I think that that's where a lot of people who maybe even push play today would think, I don't know where to start, it's too nerve-wracking, what if I get quote unquote rejected? I don't think of it as rejection. And like I said earlier, like there's so little to lose. And so I would say we're going to talk about a couple tips to get started with flirting. But first of all, just, amp yourself up. Know that you're amazing. Know that you're going to be okay. Become solo poly like Ileana and I, and just like make your life rich and wonderful without a partner. And then the rest is just fun.
And
I have a
I would
couple. Go
I
ahead.
would add, for somebody that was kind of like me previously, is where I changed my mindset is to be in the work business, not the results business. So
Mm,
when you're worried about the work so much that that result kind of goes away, and it pays in dividends in the long run. Because I flirted with somebody several times where it's like, oh, that would be nice. They seem like a really nice person. It goes away, and you accept it, and you accept what that relationship is, and then it could grow and foster into something else that could be 10 times stronger. And
yeah.
uh, it takes patience, and it takes, yeah, putting yourself out there, courage, definitely. But
But also, yeah, maybe not attaching. I think what you might be saying, Andrew, is like not attaching yourself to an outcome,
Mhm.
and
correct.
not being motivated by the outcome. And
Yeah.
this is where some of these like toxic behaviors can come in, is because you are treating a person a certain way in order to get something out of them, rather than just, I kind of like this person, I want to make them feel good, I want to enjoy the moment with them, and this is how I do it.
And it,
For,
yeah,
Yeah.
for instance, negging, pickup artist behavior, these types of things.
those are all
This is where,
results based
yeah,
Yeah.
toxic
exactly.
behavior. Yeah. And it's expectations uh, are building resentments, like they're in construction. So if you have an expectation about anything, you have this outcome that you already want. If that doesn't happen, you're the one that built that resentment. You
Mhm.
you didn't you they didn't they, they have no power over you to impact you in that way if you don't build that up in
Yeah.
yourself.
A
And that,
Yeah.
girl does not friend zone you.
Yeah. You
yes,
weren't. Yeah. And I want to circle back real quick because Andrew, you said this earlier. And it was how you're building up that thing in your head. And that happens so much for people. And what I really want to remind everyone listening is, if you catch yourself building that thing, that person is simply an avatar to what you have built in your brain. They are not part of that conversation. They are not part of that
Mm-hmm.
fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had people do that to me. They're like, oh, I've seen you online. You were this, you post, I used to post a lot of like cute little things because I felt good about me. I wasn't even looking for the likes and the comments. I'm like, I look really cute and I want to share this with everybody. Like, ta-da. And they're like, well, you put yourself, I'm like, I don't know what version of me, what version you built in your brain, what fantasy you built, but I'm not it. You don't
yeah.
know
Mm-hmm.
me. And I'm so well known for my Bobby Hill voice. I'm like, I don't know you. I don't know you. And it's so pivotal for people to understand that you're not being rejected. It's not personal. And they're not into you in that way, and that's
They
okay.
don't owe
But
you anything
I
to
owe
begin
you
with.
nothing. I'm sorry. Okay, you have feelings for me, but you don't actually know me. And even if we're friends for 10 years and you have feelings for me, we should be able to work this out. And if we can't, how long have you just been pining over me
Mm-hmm.
with that result being
Yeah.
driven.
And flirting to me, and I think to successful people in flirting, it's not a means to an end.
Yeah.
It's and if you're expected to have, and I've have my marriage is over 20 years, uh, flirting should never stop. Like and when it does, that's when we're in trouble.
Yeah.
And yeah, and we have peaks and valleys, but when you put down flirting, you put down those bids for connection, you're not leaning in towards each other, and all of these things are markers of healthy relationships. And when you get one of those, yeah, you still have this outcome base in your relationship where you're like, oh, this is forever. I could stop. I could put in effort. No, you
Mm-mm.
can't. And if you change it into your mindset and actually just live that way, man, it's so much better to walk around
Yeah.
the world
Oh my God,
and
completely.
Yeah.
lift people up, like
Hmm.
have that
Hmm.
a rising tide lifts all ships
Yeah.
mentality.
Mhm.
And it's a mindset of like scarcity or a mindset of abundance. And if
Yeah.
you're scared that you're going to lose something, you're probably going to lose it. And if you
Yeah,
think if
that's
there's
a
enough for
good point.
everybody,
And definitely
Yeah.
something that we could talk about as far as keeping the flame alive in
Yeah.
another episode. But something I love what we all three said about not having expectations, not, attaching an outcome. The fact of the matter is we will choose to intentionally flirt with someone who we are interested in. So like where do you kind of draw the line there? You are going to treat someone differently who you want to connect with
Yeah. That you want.
deeper. Mhm.
So, and for a quick note, I would love to challenge the people who see themselves as like it's hard for them to flirt. Start doing it in non-romantical
I
ways.
want to talk about this.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll go back to that.
Yeah, well, no, we'll definitely circle back to getting started tips, and we are going to
Yeah.
blow everyone's mind with our easy, simple
Yeah. Easy ones.
strategies.
But I think when you're trying to be intentional in those flirtations, is and to also not go, push too hard of a limit too far
Yeah, because
is let
wanting to connect with someone is a perfectly valid thing to do when you're out in
yeah,
the open or online. And yeah, yes, we shouldn't have intent expectations of people, but at the same time, I'm gonna see you and think I'm interested in you, and so I'm going to approach you in different ways. Like that
yeah,
should be allowed.
yeah.
don't
And I
be
know
don't be afraid to be labeled thirsty.
Andrew.
and we live in a dry state. It's perfectly fine to be like
Well, what do you
it,
mean?
There's some pressure now, I think, especially online or within some social constructs of, oh, they're wanting it, so that like there's a word for for it, thirsty. I thought, I was like, oh, I'll tell you right now that parched is going to be a thing, but people that use it are just too dumb.
There's no judgment zone, that
Yeah,
being said.
yeah, no, but shaming somebody for putting themselves out there and calling
Mhm.
somebody thirsty,
Mhm.
I don't think there's happiness on the other side of that,
I
or
am with you. I'm
connection,
completely with you. Like, what are men supposed to do? Like,
or anybody.
damned if you do,
yeah,
damned
Yeah,
if you.
yeah,
Mhm.
and yeah, damned if you do, damned if you don't. And
I'm glad
when
that we are, there's conversation around it, but I'm totally with you. I mean, I would hope that there's appropriate ways for men to approach women that we can kind of support.
Yeah, and I think the shared reality of a lot of that is having those expectations. Some guy comes up and starts flirting, the girl says no, and the guy's like, bitch, like, and you're like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
that is all on you, on the
I
pursuer.
treat those ones like a toddler. I absolutely will. It is a pre-K pause on that one, and I love that because I'm like, what would like that's how you treat somebody? Like, why would that's supposed to make me yearn for you? Like, you think I'm gonna beg for you? How pathetic are you? Like, please go to therapy. Please do some work on yourself and come
Ileana
back
and
better.
Janice don't play that.
I'm so like I don't know. I stopped. It took a long time, but I took a long time to also dive deeper into myself. And when I just started saying the thing out loud and stopped worrying about how it was going to be perceived in the way where I was being authentic and honest, not just
Mhm.
crude to be crude. Especially I was instead of a call out, I like to call it a call up. And some people will want to move up, and other people are just going to want to be little bottom feeders and have at it. But you can definitely catch a vibe from somebody if you're like,
Mhm.
I'm not really interested. And then all of a sudden
Mhm.
they turn on you. You're like, why would that make me want to come for you?
Dodge the bullet.
Yep.
Okay, thanks for solidifying the fact that the vibe was off, you weirdo, like in a mean way.
Well, I'm loving all this, and and yes, I will say, just back to the original point of, yeah, there's nothing wrong with you if you are interested in someone and want to pursue them and are going to approach them accordingly. I will still say though, the secret to your success is still not placing the expectation or the outcome on them. Yeah, go and do your thing and see what happens. Let's Andrew, I want to turn the table to you for a moment. Do
Oh
you
no.
have a favorite story about flirting? Either, yeah, any type of outcome, good, bad, ugly, anything.
I'll say what what turned for me was I think it was Conan. There was a show and he had a guest on, and it was somebody that I probably wouldn't find attractive, like just initially right out of the box. And she was talking, and he was like, "You're very flirty," and they got on the concept of it.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, "Oh, Conan, you know how I turn it on, how I turn it really on?" She goes, "I think about it." And he's like, "What?" Like her
Mm-hmm.
herself down there. And she did it right in front of him. And
What do
she
you
like her
wait? Hold on. You think about it.
she just thinks about like her vagina. Like that's
Tapped
how
into that yoni power.
Yep. Yep.
and
Pussy power.
she
Okay.
did it to him, and she transformed, like, in my eyes. I wouldn't say in everybody's eyes, like, but in my eyes, I was like, damn. So I was like, as a man, I'm gonna try that. And it's been a super
Right.
powerful tool where,
I
like,
mean,
if I want to turn it on and I'm having a good date, it's vibing.
yeah.
I'm like, all right, I'm gonna think about it.
I
And
will
then
also say I'm aware of my pussy all
Yeah.
the time.
All the time.
Mm-hmm.
I
I,
gotta listen to her. She talking to me. I'm like,
but
is this a good choice?
but I think it does something for your facial mannerisms, your whole body language, and it's a hack. And I was like, and I tried it a couple of times, and it's not 10 out of 10, but I think it gets my point across, like,
So what you're
body language
thinking of
wise.
your cock?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I do that too.
I
Except I
love it
have a
because it's true.
vaginal
It
cock.
shifts your aura and it shifts your energy from that playful, friendly banter
Yes.
to like that. And I think that's what it really is. It's your energy is speaking before you do.
yeah,
And
and I'm not like
yeah,
walking around erect or anything, but I'm thinking about it, and yeah. I think
yeah,
it
because then
turns on.
it's the shift in the eyes. It's like everything's
Mhm.
like,
And we're lots of layered, complex people, but I think ultimately we are animals, and
No, I think
like,
it's a wonderful technique. In fact, I think that you're being very bold and masculine to speak it. Because I mean, Ileana and I think kind of see this the same way. Like I'm walking into a room and I have my eyes and my pussy, and I can like feel it. It's almost like a triangle, and it's just like this constant connection and conversation and awareness that I have of my pussy, and I just feel
yeah,
like it makes me I present myself differently or in a certain way with
yeah, when they say
confidence.
like you're on the prowl, you're on the prowl,
you're literally on the prowl. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because you're like eyeballing, and it is you're too, especially when you take that time to kind of hone in and and then kind of center, be like, okay, this is the energy that I'm looking for, and I will. It's like the little rods.
Yeah.
Like, where
Yeah.
are
Where are
they?
my other rods?
Where's the
Yeah,
water?
where's my other one? Bing, 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 bing. Got it. And it's like that one. Yeah,
But
and
it's
you set
also
your
a
sights
way
on.
of confidently moving around the world too, regardless of what you think flirty wise is going to happen.
Oh yeah, be absolutely in tune with your sexual and sensual self, and that because when you're good, and maybe it's just as a solo, but like when you're good and centered on your own, you're not looking for somebody else to fill in a part.
Yeah.
You're looking for them to add to it. So then you start to become a little bit more selective of what energy you want there.
Very much so. And
Yeah.
there's solo poly. I just think it's changed. It's just you only welcome in magic.
Yeah.
Because that's all you need. That's all you have room for.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not
If
looking for
someone's
a
energy
pedestrian
in a
experience.
flirtatious manner is draining me, why am I like if I'm having to pull constantly for the
Mm.
conversation, like it needs to be a little tennis match, bing bang bing back and forth. And
So what do
that's
you
what makes
do?
it, because then you're already cultivating that magic together versus it's just you. And that to me, flirtation is kind of like that baseline to what may come later on.
Well, we're going to talk about all of our best tips for getting started. I have some, but I want to hear from both of you because I feel you're on different sides of like extroversion, introversion spectrum, just based on what I've heard from you. What would you do, Ileana and Andrew? Like, if you're, what would you do, Ileana, if you were trying to flirt with someone who you felt wasn't giving it back? Would that just kind of be a deal breaker for you? Like, how
I
do you
mean,
know? Like,
I wouldn't say it's like an end all be all, but maybe that moment, it could, first of all, it's outside of me too. It's not all about me. It could be maybe they had a shit day and they're just not picking up what I'm putting down. It could be environmental, like versus where we met at a coffee shop, or did we meet at a house party, like a play party, and things are a little bit different and
okay,
they're unsure. Like maybe I'm having an off day. For me, it's not a one and done always. It's kind of situational and environmental. So if someone's not retaliating in the way that I would enjoy, I'm not at a loss, essentially. Like, I don't take it devastatingly. It's more like, okay, I tried. And we
okay.
can, maybe I'll try again another time. And it's
Mm,
not, but my younger self, just for anybody else, like, I was not always like this. I would have felt like absolute trash. I would have crashed, especially if I was like 0-3. I would have went home. I would have cried. I would have thought I was the worst. And I would have like, nobody likes me. Like it,
mm.
I've come a long way.
And I think going back, Andrew, I'll pass it to you now.
Yeah. I would say I think it's probably about I wouldn't say a numbers game kind of with me, but if I take it depends on the swing I'm taking. If I'm doing what's like in the relationship world, sliding glass door moment where you're inviting somebody in, there's times I open it all the way and I'm come here, baby, and if that doesn't, go the way that
You're
I
making me
expect it,
blush. I want you to flirt with me.
if that doesn't go all the way, it might be, a crack or halfway like the next time. But so I think it's yeah, definitely give and take, challenge password type thing where I give you this, you give me that back. If they swing harder than me, oh, that and I was already in, then I'm like, I'm in, and because my ultimate goal is to find another giver and be on that wavelength together because there are those dynamics which I think are super unhealthy, but they breed themselves and they grow and people change too. So somebody's a taker, somebody's a giver because then
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
they're allowed to give it away. When you're a giver, you like giving, and you sometimes do it with no intention of getting anything back. And when you're not keeping a scoreboard, it could be lopsided. And then if something happens in your brain, you're like, wait a minute, I haven't really gotten anything back from this
Mm-hmm.
relationship. It's not loving me back. And this could be anything, like not just people, it's situations, it's jobs, it's hobbies, it's all kinds of things. You love the things that love you back, but you could get in a toxic relationship with anything. It could be mine was football or drinking too much, things like that. And then you have to sit back and yeah, maybe I'm not going to have that door wide open any like more, but
Mm-hmm.
I could be more healthy and have it a little bit closed and then we could work on it together to open it all the way again. And that's what's going on my side of the fence. I hope they're doing the same work on their side of the fence, but that's not my responsibility. I
Mhm.
own what I do and my behaviors, and it's my job to communicate that. And that could be with words, with actions, with body language, with all kinds of things at my disposal. But I think that's where you go with it. And that's where I would go with it. And it took a while to do that because, yeah, I was introverted and thinking the world was happening to me. But when you
Mm-hmm.
realize
Mm-hmm.
you are happening to the world, that gives you a
Mm-hmm.
lot of power.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Agreed. Agreed. Again, going back to the confidence thing, and also if you don't have expectations out of the other person in the first place, you'll enjoy yourself more. You know, feeling rejected is like poison in your body. You can't be rejected if
Yeah.
person isn't rejecting you, and they won't be
Well,
rejecting
and
you if you didn't put this thing on them in the first place.
yeah, and something I want to quick note on this. Two things. One, I use give and receive as a verbiage flip because that helped me so much. Because I'm like, I'm not taking, I'm receiving. Because I don't want to take from somebody. So it was received. So that was a verbiage flip from me that was really transformative because I'm very much of a giver. So I give because I love to. I give because I want to without that expectation of return. But you get exhausted when you realize that you've given. And then one of the things that I work with clients a lot, and it's one of my number one tips to them, and it's a uncommunicated missed expectation, and you're mad
Please
about it.
go on, girl.
And that is when it comes to flirting, when it comes to relationships, to your work, it is across the board of life. You have got to communicate what your expectations are, and that way you don't have a missed one because in a partnership, if you guys are nesting partners, you think that your partner's going to come home, see the dishes are full in the sink, and that they're just going to do them because they're full. They come home and they're like, that's not a priority for them. Like, fuck it, I may do it later, maybe they'll get to them later. A little sticky note saying, I had 0 spoons for the dishes today, but I really want them done, can you please handle this, is such a game changer because you've communicated something that you want and the expectation. And then that way, then they have the opportunity to communicate theirs. Because when we miss it, we're just, boop, and then we're mad. And we're talking about why we're mad over here when really it's this cross point that occurred why we're mad.
Well, and maybe, and being able to accept this to yourself
Yeah.
and
Oh,
say, why am I feeling rejected? What was I expecting in the
yeah.
first place?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have conversations with present me and future me all the damn time. And I'm like, present me would like to meal prep. Future me wants the kitchen cleaned after I do that as well. Okay, got it. I can and I make up little deals. And, I was in the service industry forever. So I always do like opening me, closing me at the end of the day. Like, what is opening me willing to do that closing me isn't? Like, what can I barter here? And it's the same thing in our relationships. And when we're just talking to people, no matter where we are in our relationships, is what conversations can we have? Because I don't want to have that missed expectation.
And
And I,
go ahead, Andrew.
oh no, I was just saying that's why I think relationships and everything are complicated because you yourself have those at least at minimum 2 people inside you, your experiential self and then your narrative self, the story that you tell yourself later. And a lot of times they're like opposed to each other.
Mm.
And yeah, I want to eat all the Halloween candy, but do I want to go for the run later? You know, like
I had tamales in my fridge last night that I ate, and I knew it was a bad idea. And then I will say from my, I was like, don't do it, and I still did. I will also say we touched on this in the beginning of the episode, and this is perhaps my number one of my top tips for dating is do not write a story about it. You see someone across the room, you think that they're going to be a wonderful partner. You meet someone online and chat with them for 2 days and start telling your friends how great they are or how the first date's going to be magical. You are planning the first date and tell everyone you know about it. You're writing a story, you're setting up expectations. Before you even start talking to a person, you might be thinking and asking yourself, are they going to go home with me? Are they going to ask me for my number? Are we going to do this and that? I don't do this anymore. I totally used to. And I can assure you that it is something that you can train yourself out of doing, partially because of my meditation practice, partially because of training myself over time to just live in the moment And also realizing the concept of writing stories. I don't do that ever. And I promise you, you will set yourself completely free in your relationships and in meeting people if you can just connect for the moment and just think of the moment.
It's fighting a millennia of evolution of us being storytellers.
Completely. And I know that
Yeah.
this will be foreign to some people, but like
But it's possible.
think about
Yeah.
it, how often you do that. Think about how often you've done that in dating. I mean, yeah, we'll do more
You
content
know,
on this, but
I was gonna say, because I have something.
I love this concept. So
Yeah, because I have a quick note on that.
okay.
If you are, because I'm an avid storyteller. However, what I've learned to switch is I take that person out of it. Am I looking for this energy? Is this what I'm looking for? And when you start to subtract that, and you're like, and it also helps because I'm very much a manifester. I meditate, all those good things, and it starts for you to help figure out what energies and what things you are looking for in other people, in partnerships. And again, that's across the board: romantical, friendships, work, whatever. What energies are you looking for? So if you catch yourself storytelling, don't start to shame yourself because you're storytelling. Spin it. Take that person
Okay.
out of it. They are just an avatar,
Mhm.
and recognize, like, oh, I'm desiring these types of energies coming back to
I
me.
love it. I love it. Yeah,
Yeah.
like let it teach you something.
Let it
I
teach you
will
something.
say, as far as the tip goes, and then that's how we're going to close, is I understand you might spin something in your head and that you can learn from it. I will say one of my top dating tips: don't go around voicing it to all your friends, because then it spreads and it takes on more life. And so I will say, not
You're
keep it to your
building that
yeah,
expectation.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that is what I will say, is if you want to get out of the habit of creating stories before letting them create themselves, is, yeah, don't go around telling all your friends what you think is going to happen. So we I think the three of us, we should do a master class on flirting. I think it would be brilliant. This is a great combination. And again, if either of you want to do more content, just let me know your ideas.
Well,
This is
there will
great.
be role playing.
Okay.
So just
Ooh, baby. Oh my.
Talking my
Okay.
language.
I don't have as much experience with that. Ooh, I can't wait. The three of us should get together and do happy hour and flirt with each other. um People will want to know, okay, I get everything. How do you flirt? How do you get comfortable with it? I want to talk about some of my tips, and I want you to tell me some of yours. And okay, I know I've gone on and on and on about this, but you have to get comfortable with eye contact, especially in the Western world. This is just the number one way to let someone know that you see them, that they see you, that you are all comfortable with the situation. I'm sorry. If you're not comfortable with eye contact and you're listening to this, I will say you have to practice. You have to. You can't flirt without eye contact. I'm sorry. You
I
guys
agree.
cool with that?
Yes, I
Okay.
100%
All
agree.
right. So then another thing I will say, and this is entirely practical. If you want to get comfortable with eye contact, if you want to get comfortable with flirting, smile, get used to smiling. People you walk by, the cashier at the grocery store, your coworkers. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're flirting, but just naturally approach someone welcomingly. And yeah, I mean, I remember after the pandemic, I took my mask off and I would just walk around with the biggest grin on my face. And it just it makes people happy, and it becomes then natural the more that you can do it. I'll just say
I'm
smile.
glad you said it because me telling a bunch of women to smile might not go so well.
All right. And also, I will say entirely, I turn this on and off. And I didn't want to get into that too much in this episode, but there are situations and environments and times and places where I am able and do shut these off. I don't just go into any situation or any environment or any bar doing this.
It's
But I will
disarming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's one of my tips. I will say get used to small talk or casual conversations. Do either of you have anything to say about that?
I know that there's been some shame around small talk, and people are like, "Oh, I don't have another talking phase in me,"
Mm-hmm.
or small talk is so boring. But I would say if you have all of your receptors up, your knives down, it's not boring at all because there's a lot that you could pick up on that the words are not saying. Like, so words are almost like secondary to actually what's going on. So you should be paying attention to what their hands are doing, what they're if they're leaning into you. There's so much energy that you could be putting into, like, the small talk should be easy, and that's why it's there. So you could be talking about their day or their life or their
You're
middle
being
name, their
curious.
favorite color,
Mm-hmm.
all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, take note of it because it might come up later in a test.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not that important information. It's the how are they treating you, things like that. Like, because if they don't want to be there, do you want somebody that doesn't want to be there anyway? So
Yep.
yeah,
Yes,
definitely put.
thank you. I appreciate that coming from you for sure. Yes, and keep your eyes open. I mean, seriously. And going back to eye contact, it's meant to be a very good conversation regulator. If someone starts out making eye contact with you and then suddenly isn't anymore, please pay attention to that. There's probably a reason for it. Going back to casual conversations, you are interacting with this person with curiosity. And I will also say this was kind of one of like the classic or the top things that came up. And that is if you're trying to flirt with someone or get to know someone, ask them questions about their life. I know that that's going to seem like a cheesy and obvious flirting technique, but I have to say it's true. Another one of my tips, and then I'm just going to open up the floor, is body confidence. And that is because if you are comfortable in your own skin, you will be more comfortable approaching people. So, what does body confidence actually mean? It doesn't mean that you think you're perfect. It doesn't mean that you don't, see things about your body that you might want to change or be trying to change or not 100% love. But if you're going out into the world, I think do things that make you feel physically comfortable so that if you are in public, you at least have that. Sometimes when like we try to wear high heels or we try to wear certain things that we wouldn't normally do, or anything that we're not comfortable with, you're not going to want to talk to anyone or even look someone in the eye if you think, if you're feeling uneasy.
And those of you out there with like body dysmorphia, like myself,
Mhm.
there's a path out of it. You could still look at yourself and not see the version of yourself that you want and still walk around and just get funny. That's the
Okay.
key.
Yeah, back to the humor. That
Yeah.
the number two way to flirt with someone, yes, is to be lighthearted about everything or as many things as you can.
Leading with seeking to understand, it goes hand in hand with that, and that's what one of my tip was, is if when you seek to be understood, I think conflict does, like, on the other side of that. And when you start with seeking to understand, connection is on the other side of that. And I
Mhm.
think that's what flirting is if you want to be intentional about it, if you're pulling this up and looking at it, you're wanting to get better at it and foster those good connections, those meaningful connections. And that's, I believe, how you do it. And when you're out in the world, I think you spill what you carry. So if you carry curiosity, you carry kindness, you carry and that with you when life jostles you, when the conversation jostles you, maybe they say something that doesn't align with things and it shocks you. If you're carrying
Shocks you.
if you're carrying anger, if you're carrying jealousy, if you're carrying those things, that's what's going to spill out, and that's how you're going to react to that problem,
Yeah.
react to that issue. So if
Totally.
you're carrying kindness, you're carrying love, you're carrying that mentality, when life does shock you, that's what'll come out. Your curiosity will come out. Your love will come out in those moments. Because
I
that's, I think,
think
where we're getting disconnected and where it breaks down. And we have those, nope, I don't want these moments, because then you see a side of that person that you don't want to see. So just go out there and carry the things that you want to spill out in the bad moments.
Yep.
And Ileana, I'll go to you. I feel really prompted to say, I think also at the end of the day, if you are wanting connection, partnership, companionship to date, a lot of what we're saying in the last hour is you got to do the work on yourself first.
Mhm.
A
Yeah.
lot of this comes down to the fact that the three of us have gone through the trenches, been really intentional about what we want to be, how we want to be, trauma, different things that we've probably all had to work through. And maybe start with that. It will make you a better flirt. Do the work.
Yeah.
So those
For
of you
sure.
that thought, let's go pick up some chicks, we're on aisle 7.
Right.
You probably not the advice you were looking for, but yeah,
Not at all.
it's 100% all inside you. That's where your attention should be. That's where your intention should be. And I know a lot of it is like, oh, how do I find a partner? How do I find this? If you do the work on yourself, I guarantee you'll see the results that you are like pining for.
Yep.
Just don't expect them, and be patient. And I'd say if dating's your ultimate goal, also, people are like, oh, I can't date because there's nobody. Go find yourself, find your hobby.
Yep.
If you go to even like a sports, all the gender you're not trying to date, all those people have sisters, all those people have like other connections that you're going to be social situations with. And
Yeah.
you're robbing yourself not by taking care of yourself.
Yep.
So get a hobby, and then when a potential partner does find you, they're going to find a complete person that they want, instead of this thing that just wants to suction cup on you.
I love that. And I'll give mine really quick because they're so aligned with it. And as a solo person, I get so many people who ask, like, well, where do you go to meet people? I was like, everywhere I want to be. I was like, you won't catch me at the bar. I don't drink much. And so the bar, I'm annoyed. And why would I be there? I'm not going to find somebody that I'm interested with. I'm going to go do the hobbies, the activities, the things that I like to do. I'm not an online dater at all. I love to meet people organically and am happy when it turns orgasmically. And that's one of those. And I love it. Take it.
Organic to orgasmic.
Organic
We're doing
to, yeah.
an episode.
It's so good though, because you get to make those little moments of flirtation. And my biggest flirt tip for everybody is just be playful, stay curious. I 100% agree with Andrew on that. Stay curious, stay playful, drop the expectation, and start living that little movie romantic life little bit by little bit. But it really does, it's we're all on the same page because it starts with you.
And think about it.
Yeah,
Think about it.
Think about it. And it's one of those things, like, I love to go out and eat by myself, and I still get people who are like, oh my God, I can't do that. What do you mean? I was like, I love it. What do you mean? I get to just chill. I'm in my own little zone. Maybe I talk to people over there. Maybe I chill with the bartender. Sometimes I'm like, I want a table because I don't want to talk to nobody today.
Seriously, everyone, if you are this confident,
Yeah.
I talked about the sexy solo date night on both of my podcasts all of the time.
Yeah.
If you're that comfortable with yourself, you will make so many better decisions about who you even flirt with in the first place.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be okay either way.
Because it's
and
not,
also, if you're that confident, people will be so curious and gravitated toward you.
Yeah.
No.
I have more people approaching me than I approach people.
Right, for real. And I'm not one for, so small talk is different than surface talk. Surface talk is,
Okay.
how's the weather? What's your favorite color? And all those kinds of things. But small talk can be intentional questions that you ask to not only get to know somebody from that answer, but also, like Andrew said, you're listening for what's not being said, how it's being said, their body language in it. Because if someone is just talking about their ex the whole time and how bad they were and blah, 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 like, you've got some work to do on that. And I'm not your dumpster. Please call your therapist. Call your mama, because I'm not the one.
Know your audience. Leave the service people alone.
Oh,
and I had to learn this. I got kicked off of Christian Mingle, so I wasn't on Christian.
Um, damn you. Wait, you're just joking?
Rolling?
Yes,
Because
I
I
was
was like,
joking.
why are you saying that at the very end of this?
I was
This
joking.
could have been in its own.
No, but like service people, it's part of their job. So, and I think a lot of guys that just aren't self-aware go out there and like,
Dump.
yeah,
I
I
was a
know, but
bartender and a server.
when I said small talk and casual conversations, I'm just saying because so many people would be so uncomfortable talking with someone out in the wild. And I'm just trying to encourage you, like, go and talk with your cashier, go and talk to the
Oh, yeah.
bartender. Seriously, go to a bar by
yeah,
yourself and just
practice.
practice, please.
Yeah.
Seriously. Mm.
And as a former bartender, if it's slow in there, go ahead and talk to me. If I am busy, don't try to have a conversation. I got shit to do.
Well, see, this is like picking up on cues, reading body language, all
It is.
things that make us good flirts.
Yeah. Take that moment.
I think we might need to do a part 2 of this. I think there's so many things in here. I'd love to have you both back on the show together, separately, whatever. I want to hear from my audience what you thought of this. Do you have questions about dating? Do you have a question that you would like me to answer on my YouTube or TikTok? I am happy to do so. Do you have an idea for another episode? Come over to my YouTube. Actually, it's kind of taking off. It's Janice Formicella. I'm having a lot of fun over there. Come and check me out on FetLife. I wasn't going to mention that, but since I'm with the two of you, I'm having fun over there as well. And most of all, come over to janisformichella.com. I do dating coaching. So if you're like getting turned on by this and want to work one-on-one with someone, please hit me up. I've worked with all genders, people all around the world to build confidence, start dating again after a lull or after a breakup. Ileana, you mentioned you do coaching. So what is that about?
Yeah, so I do intimacy mentoring and I focus very much on honing in on yourself. And because for me, it's our sensual and sexual self is such a core to our human experience that when we're aligned with those parts of us, we're making those better choices across the board and in our life. So yeah, I love to chitty chat with people. I love to curate and create little fun experiences as well if they need some help kind of either bringing back the fire within themselves with their partners or they just need help trying to build those connections again. I love to do that.
Yeah, depending on who is listening and watching, you'll like gravitate towards one of us. So I will have all of Ileana's info in the show notes. And yes, I just want to assure everyone you have something so magical inside of it. And you have something so magical.
Both.
All right, you are magical. And as soon as you can uncover that, yeah, life can be more rich. I appreciate this conversation so much. Yeah. Thank you to everyone for tuning in. Thank you to my new co-host. I appreciated this a lot. This was really fun. Ooh, I'm ready to go get my flirt on. What about you? Bye.
Bye.